What's up guys, Hades here. I hope this finds you when you need it. What is the correct element to do? Fire, earth. I've talked about both. They're the two easiest to build. Unless of course you have Tutankhamun or Kukulkan. Those do a bit more damage, but you really have to have full developed either Shadow or Holy, which is much harder. So most people are going to be able to do fire or earth. If you didn't watch either of those videos, you might want to check those out so that you have a bit more context. Now, the problem with today is this is the fire resistant fire resistant boss, and on Earth, it's the earth resistant boss, which means we're stuck behind a rock and a hard place. So let's break it down even further. This boss, not only is it resistant to fire immortals, but the fire immortals who are prone to be crit heavy cannot crit. Second of all, once you get it below half, it takes 40% reduced damage. This is by far the hardest boss to kill in any element, but especially hard counters fire. You're resistant, you can't crit, and he has reduced damage. Super hard to fight this boss. Not to mention his ultimate is quite strong, but because we have Hippolyta, it's not as big of a factor. Now on the flip side, we have the Earth boss, who also does the same thing, 30% reduced damage for Earth Immortals. But this one has no stun effects, heals itself below 50%, and does a much stronger ultimate. It stacks poison when it hits 3 stacks. It does a very large number. So basically, if it gets 3 stacks, you lose. Now, what should you hit? If you're a big player and you have Knife Through Butter, they're both an option. If you don't have Knife Through Butter, the option is easy, go for fire. But it's not as simple as that. Arash is an S+ tier tank killer, boss killer, right? Fire, Hippolyta and Wu are both very good at boss hitting, not quite the same level as Arash. Now the problem is, where are your immortals strong? Do you have a strong Wu? Do you have a strong Hippolyta? Do you have a strong Alex? Do you have a strong Arash? Mine are relatively balanced. My Arash is only 4, my Alex is 8, and then on the flip side, Hippolyta and Wu are 8. So you're going to have to make that decision for you. But in my situation, which boss do you think is better? I'll give you just a moment to think about it. My intuition was Earth would be better. I nearly beat it with my last one. I made some big upgrades. I also switched into level 8 Zenobia to give Arash all the bonuses. And all that I have to deal with is the 30% damage reduction. Fire is way harder, the triple counters. But here's the thing, I hit both. Here's the results. 28% from Earth, almost did nothing. Very strange. Knife Through Butter either just didn't activate that much. I watched it, it didn't look that bad. I just couldn't do damage. The 30% reduction was terrible. As soon as it ulted, all my units got low, and then the fight just kind of stalled out, right? You can see, I died. It was very difficult. It ulted me a lot. Second, fire. 52%. Huh. And you can notice my team is still alive because it went the full distance. But here's that massive deductions, right? I can't crit. You can see damage. 0 crits. 0 crits. You're not allowed to crit it. And you get all that reduced damage. Now here's why fire is the better option almost always. And what you need to do to your lineup. So first of all, what we usually have here is weakness. Why? Because crits do so much damage. But why would we use weakness if I can't crit it, right? Crit immunity. So it's useless. So what I did was I went with the damage boost, right? Secondly, I get magical and defense drop from Chaos Storm, which then again helps boost my damage. Now, the weakest link in my build is Fear of Domination. Obviously, this needs to be updated or changed to something more valuable for my team because I never got it below 50%. And the last thing that kind of failed was Time to Shine. And the main reason is the crit rate is very useless. Why would I go for 30% damage when I could have just put something better, right? I could have put something a little bit stronger. But let's go ahead and watch this replay because it's going to break down a lot of the details that I just mentioned. Now, there is a luck factor. The aura that Trajan's holding buffs 2. So if he buffs Wu and Cyrus, well, I only get 15% on my Wu. If he buffs Cyrus and Hippolyta, well, I only get 15 on Hippolyta. But there is a 1/3 chance I get it on both my carries, which would be very, very valuable. Now, the main thing to watch is the ult bar on the boss. And it looks way faster than the last time I hit him. It almost goes to the end over and over and over, which is super scary, which makes me want to change into Adrenaline Rush, which means Hippolyta would get her ultimate faster, which means that the boss would never ult me. You're going to find in, I'm not exactly sure when, but it's going to ult right there. And at this moment, I lose so much DPS. I lose a ton of DPS on my Wu because she got harmed, and I lose a ton of DPS on my Hippolyta because she got harmed. So I need to change Adrenaline Rush on my Hippolyta, and I need to update the aura on Cyrus if I want to make sure I do 50% or more damage. And then of course we have to do all the gems and the boosts and the upgrades and the specializations to truly max out this March to actually get more than 50%. But honestly, when this boss comes out, I don't know if this team even has the potential to do it. We'll see in the future. But yeah, I hope this was helpful for you guys. I do end up getting the 50%, but it's very slow. I hope you guys are having fun with this new event, and I hope you learned a little something new. Make sure you're using something similar and try and adapt and make it better. It can always be a little bit better than the last time. If you guys like these kind of videos, make sure to leave a like and a comment, and I'll catch you in the next one.